Hi, I'm Gabby De La Cruz, and I'm going to be talking about climate change and its effects on the Alameda Whipsnake. I wanted to see how the projections for the RCP 8.5 scenario would affect the Alameda Whipsnake. The RCP 8.5 scenario means that there are enough greenhouse gases in the atmosphere in 2100 compared to pre-industrial levels that it will increase the overall energy budget of the Earth's atmosphere by 8.5 watts per meter squared. The Alameda Whipsnake is a state and federally threatened snake. This means that it's one step away from becoming endangered if its population gets much lower. The reason mainly for it being threatened in the state and federally is because of urban expansion. So that's due to humans just expanding farther into the territory than they have been in previous years. Roads, animals, fires, all of these are threats to the Alameda Whipsnake. The models that were used for this analysis were the CANESM2 model, the CCSM4 model, the CSIRO-MK3-6-0 model, the HAGEM2-ES model, and the IPS1-CM5A-1R model. The criteria that I used for each of my models was that each had to have at least 4 ensemble runs. This was to make sure that any natural variability and variability between models would be as smoothed out as possible to be able to see the actual trend. In figure 1, you can see that all of the models show a projected increase in temperature from the 1950s through 2099. And you can see that in the 2040s they tend to increase more dramatically. All except for the CCM4 model follow a similar path. The CCM4 model tends to run a little bit cooler than the rest. The difference between the maximums and the lower maximums for the 149 years is about 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Figure 2 shows the mating season temperature model means for the decades of the 1960s compared to the 2060s. The x-axis is each year corresponding to the 1960s and the 2060s, which means that the spot for 61 will apply to 1961 and to 2061. The y-axis is the maximum temperature in Fahrenheit. The magenta line is the all models mean for the 2060s, and the blue line is the all models mean for the 1960s. There was quite a bit of variability between models for the mating season, so the difference between the maximum temperatures and minimum temperatures for the past and future decades was 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. And figure 3 shows the hatching season temperature model means for the same decades of the 1960s and the 2060s. The x-axis corresponds to the same years as in figure 2. The y-axis is also maximum temperature in Fahrenheit. The magenta line corresponds to the all model mean for the 2060s, and the blue line corresponds to the all model mean for the 1960s. Variability between models for the future and past projections was much smaller than during the mating season, so the average maximum temperature difference was much more obvious. There was a 7.8 degree Fahrenheit difference between the maximum ends of the past and future temperature ranges, and a 7.6 degree Fahrenheit difference between the minimum ends of the past and future temperature ranges. The hatching season was much warmer than the mating season. The difference in temperature between the high activity seasons was about 7 degrees Fahrenheit. The chaparral biome and the Alameda Whipsnake are both adapted to the hot summer Mediterranean climate. This climate is characterized by the winter months getting about 3 to 4 inches of rain, and the hottest summer month consistently being over 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Maximum. Therefore, the projected temperature increase will probably not endanger the Alameda Whipsnake or its habitat any further, because they're both suited to high temperatures. The Alameda Whipsnake will probably be affected more by other factors like urban development and things that are related to that, like changes in fire frequency or pets from humans killing the snakes, snakes being run over, things like that. Variables like precipitation and fire frequency will probably be most important to analyze next because they'll likely have a larger effect on the Alameda whipsnake than increasing temperatures. Thank you.